both teams are going to be able to excel at as much as they possibly can.
We're going to get this started right now. Kayvon is doing his best to orchestrate the crowd. Going crazy right here. The final set, everybody. It's all built up to this. FTWin versus Able to Mutate. Sayonara. Let's take a look at the comms. And Melissa, take it away. What are we seeing here?
Honestly, not something that I would be surprised about. I am very, very excited to see Kyo on this Luna.
Woohoo!
I knew you'd be happy about it too. So especially with that buff that it got recently, you know, this is exactly what we want to see. We know that Kyo is dominant on a blaster, and when you're faced down, like, look at this. We're not even 20 seconds in, and Kyo is already destroying.
Fantastic stuff right there. A wipe at the very, very start. Sayo has to come back and find a way to adjust to this. We were actually looking at some stats that had come up, and it turns out that in the splats count, that wasn't what Sayo was winning in that last set. They were getting outsplatted in very much every metric, but the way that they play works in getting the objective here. FTWin does not give you those same opportunities, and Kyo moving up. What's the best way to get rid of teams that like to work together and stick next to each other? Burst damage, and the Luna's the best at that.
It certainly is, and you know, FTWin has their number in terms of that because FTWin knows that's how they play too. So they want to be able to break them apart as quickly as possible, and I think, you know, Kyo was talking about he wasn't totally sure how to answer some of those things. That might be their answer.
I think it's working very, very well. There finally is going to be control swapping the other way, so a nice penalty is going to be applied, but they have a lot of work to do to even get back to that and really even find their footing in this match. I think that has to be their first point of order.
It certainly does. I think they need to work really hard right now. Sayonara is a bit behind, you know, and that penalty is ticking down. I say that, and they're able to neutralize zone. So with this bomb rush and Bagel in this position over here with this baller, they are going to be able to take it.
That is fantastically smart play right there. Bump people off. For those of you who hate playing against baller, which is a lot of you, doing something like that is very smart, but all that time, while all of that focus was going on to the baller, look at the way that Sayo was able to build up the rest of the map and gang up on the rest of the members of FTWin. They've got a great look right now. They have turned the flow of this match back in their favor, and more than anything, they have enough specials to match the specials that are coming out from FTWin.
They certainly do. Their positioning is really well, too. They're not as far forward as maybe we would like to see, but I don't necessarily think they need to be because consistently, only 2 players are up at a time, and that is what's going to help them stay as even as possible.
He was just waiting until he got on camera.
Of course,
He's a showman. He's a showman. And
yes.
Getting the recap in that situation with that baller is huge too, because if that had stuck around too much longer, then suddenly the desperation starts to set in. You try too hard to preserve your lead, and you end up giving up way too much. You lose the lead and a lot more. So great to FTWin. You said it earlier, they have a certain winning pedigree and quality about them. They seem to almost always make those plays when they're there to be made.
They do. They know how to attack what they want to get and how to get their goals as quickly as they can. And I think this is Jared right here doing a really great job to just be as annoying as possible, and that's what FTWin has to worry about because the zone went right back over, and now they're 45 points again.
It did. Is Sun going to be able to get 2 of them here? That would be huge, and he does. That's going to be essentially 2.5 because Bagel got it there, and Sun may have saved this game for them right there. I was about to say that Itachi had saved it the other way, but it's coming back now. These teams going at each other. Ant moved up on the left side. I don't even think that Itachi noticed it. Look how far they're pushed back. As long as Bagel is able to zone out Kyo, they're going to be able to get a lot of points here and maybe even the lead.
They certainly are in a great position to do so. They've also forced a staggered spawn onto FTWin, and it's very, very difficult to do with this team. So they have really done a great job here. 1 point away 9, and that is the lead.
That is insane. Can they take this the rest of the way? They got the jumps back in on time. Those missiles aren't going to be enough by themselves, and they are going to opt to stand back here, not sacrifice too much to hold their lead, and opt to instead keep the match, the flow of the match in their favor. They know that they're going to have some specials coming up. They want all 4 in the Sentinel. Bagel's going to be able to pressure this here. That's what the Nautilus is so good at. They're okay with that trade, although now it's not really a trade because 1 went down, but they're okay with trading in this respect as long as they can keep the point totals minimal.
Certainly so. And if they can get back into mid as quickly as possible, you know, being able to jump in like that as they're respawning is very, very important right now. They know that they really can't give a lot of this. There was that defense. They knew it was coming.
They did, and very decisively 2 of them came over here. A lot of times you may think, okay, well, we should send 1 person over there. Who should we go? By the time you have made that decision, it is too late. The other team has got what they've wanted. Speaking of what they wanted, here comes in the specials right here. This would be a huge flip with just 20 seconds left to put on a massive penalty. They need this right now. You see all of the members on the map painting, and that is going to be almost 30 more points down with just 15 seconds left. It does look like maybe the flip will go back the other way, although no one has to jump out. Shaq gets taken down. That jump out may have been a little bit ill-timed. They're going to put 3 people on the left side. They need it now. 2, 1, and Sayo is going to take your first game.
I'm not gonna say what our off-camera predictions were, but
what mine specifically? It's okay. I appreciate you doing that for me. Take a look there at the bottom. Kyo with the first 20 bomb that we have seen right there. But we talked earlier about Sayo's ability to maybe lose in the Splat War those numbers, but win the game all in all. And as we talked about why they have risen to the top so quickly and why a lot of teams have started to take notice, it's their way to do exactly that.
Yes, absolutely. And I think they have proven they're here to play. They're here to play. They're here to win. They are more hungry than I think any other team we've seen, because to be able to do that against FTWin and take that zone so commandingly back when they were so far behind is amazing.
And it says a lot when they, we talk about flanking a lot and how very good Sayo is at it. That is one of the hardest things in high-level Splatoon to do well, because you saw, you got the one unfortunate time on camera that Jared got called out and 2 people rushed him immediately. Yeah. That's very, very common. And the way that they're able to do it, the way that they're able to direct eyes the other way and continue to make those 2v1s out of seemingly nothing it's such a difficult thing to do. It's why they've risen to the top so quickly. They simply have that skill set, and a lot of other teams, even strong ones, haven't developed it.
They haven't. And I think, honestly, as much as other teams might play with each other the same amount as Sayonara, sometimes there's just a synergy that clicks with players that you can't replicate elsewhere. And I think that's the thing that Sayonara has. I think that's the thing that FTWin has. I think that those are the 2 energies that are kind of making this what the grand finals that we're excited to see.
And we wanted to see this. And I'm very curious now what the counter pick is going to be, because Sayo has demonstrated their ability to play well on basically every mode. I know they lost Clam Blitz, but they lost it by essentially a power clam. It was very, very close. They won on tower control. They've just won on Splat Zones, and they dominated on the Rainmaker map that we did see. So I think that really they've made their case. They have proven that they can hang with the best teams in any mode that they run into. So now I'm very curious as to what FTWin's going to pick. Oh, I really should have seen this coming.
And I'm looking over your shoulder, and I was like,
it's the boogeyman in the closet here. I think the last time that Tower Control Mako Mart came out in a very high-pressure situation against a good team, I think the match lasted all of 30 seconds as Kyo took down maybe 5 people.
Yeah.
There's only 4 people to take down, and I still think Kyo took out 5.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's nice about the counter pick system, obviously we know you can't pick the same map mode you already won on, but you can pick this map every single time.
And, don't be surprised if we see exactly that. Oh, very nice here. Really, again, we saw what Kyo was able to do in Splat Zones. It's going to be even more, I guess, oppressive, for lack of a better term, here in Tower Control. A lot of people know that if you have a blaster, it does tend to work pretty well. And Jared, great job forcing Toon and Shaq all the way back over far, far away from the action here. And that's something that I think, again, Sayo does so well. They're able to move people, almost the opponent, around as if they were controlling them.
They certainly do. They know where to apply pressure in a way to get somebody to go where they want and then take them out. And I think that's part of the synergy that makes them work so well as a team.
You see right here, they continue to swap back around and sitting up here as well. They're going to be able to get 2 specials out here. Tends to be the point of no return is that second checkpoint. If they were able to march past it in the first minute, that would be, even if you had predicted Sayo to win the set, I don't think you would predict them to dominate on this map the way they have in the first minute.
I don't think FTWin would have predicted that either, because this was their counter pick. So I think they are looking for a very, very different game, and the tides seem like they're about to turn. My worry is sometimes FTWin can get in their own way, and they can get in their heads, and I don't want to see that happen to them right now.
I don't either, and Bagel, good job holding that down, at least forcing a trade here. That was a situation where there wasn't a lot to do. Very unfortunate getting caught between 2 splat bombs, 3 splat bombs here. We know it seems like the Junior almost seems like a bomb rush in and of itself at times, but again, we've talked and seen maybe a couple of these picks go on camera, but off camera, it seems like FTWin just isn't able to rally the troops and get control of the map. It goes back so very quickly, and even here, it took 2 people to take down Sun. They are going to be able to collapse on tower ever so slightly, but once again, take one down, there's another waiting.
and that Inkjet was so dominating right there. Jared popped that, is able to get that pick on Keo, which is exactly what you need. And they're kind of just waiting it out a little bit. It seems like they're playing very, very patiently.
They are, and look at the way that they have not let go of this side of the map. Kyo has had a very difficult time getting back in. This should be a map where Luna has a good time, but they have to have enough control in order to do it here. And now you see immediately, Sayo doesn't hop onto the tower and say, maybe we can get 2 more points. They retreat, they go back to mid, they allow themselves to enjoy the advantage they have built. And I was about to say, if Bagel gets 1 more, I'm setting down my microphone.
Really, really looking like it. I'm also always looking at the fact that there's not more than 10 seconds where an entire team is up.
No.
They have been doing a great job keeping that very level in terms of trading with one another, breaking it down, and now there's a full wipe.
Just look at the micro game that was right there. The baller came out. Sun immediately goes to the other side. Bagel moves up to slow down the baller. Then Sun is able to focus the fire as well. They take down Kyo before he even has a chance to throw a bomb. Now they have 2 specials coming the other way. Creating advantages without the use of specials allows them to do exactly what you see right now.
Certainly, certainly does. All the way through that checkpoint. That's the exact one that you were talking about earlier. Even though they do go 2 down, Anthony is still on that tower, waiting on that last checkpoint, clears it like it was nothing, and there is nobody there to contest this as they just ride it into home.
There are things we have never seen in Splatoon before. I have never, in all of the matches that I have casted of FTWin, seen them be dominated, and I will use that word, on Mako Mart tower control. That has been their thing that they could go to no matter what.
Yeah.
Not only did they lose, they never even looked like they were competitive. They just kept getting pushed back. One was always down. Kyo was never able to get the ball rolling. This is unreal.
This is unreal, and I'm wondering what will their answer be here, because we've already seen that Sayonara is able to do Rainmaker too. There's not really anything that FTWin can feel very safe on.
I think, and this is something I never thought I'd ask for, I think they almost have to spread them out as far as they can and try to pick a map where they can use, dare I say it, double ballpoint, or something that they can sit back and take advantage of the fact that in those up-close and personal situations, Sayo is simply moving better, they're communicating more efficiently, and it's the style of game that they always play. So I think they have to try to spread them out. Maybe Piranha Pit, maybe Albacore. There are bans involved, but you got to do something there.
Yeah. Absolutely. I wonder if maybe that's part of the plan that Sayonara has. They're banning some of those larger maps because they know if they get spread out, then they're going to have a harder time being able to do anything. So that could be in their favor by banning some of those. I wish I could be in those comms and kind of hear what they're talking about.
Yeah, and it's so, I mean, I don't even know what you do in this situation where your trump card has just been trumped, for lack of a better term. It has been beaten so thoroughly that you really have to search for answers in maybe a way you weren't expecting to. And it does look like they are going back to Splat Zones, which I do agree with here. The Splat Zones map was a lot closer. And if nothing else, it does give them the opportunity to jump back, come back in as a team, and try to work their way through that. I will say that Black Billy Skate Park, a very up-close and personal map, does play to the strengths of Sayonara ever so slightly.
It does.
But you got to go somewhere, and I think this is a nice pick.
I think so, too. I think my one big worry, you know, everything that you've mentioned in my head is Bagel, Bagel, Bagel. So no matter what you do, if you went that double ballpoint, Bagel is there with that Nautilus. If you go to a map like this, you know, like I want to see Keo on that blaster. It's close enough within the zones that you can cap them with a shorter range blaster. I just don't know what they're going to be able to do when they're facing down people that they're unsure about.
Right, and when every time you point at somebody and, you know, get a couple shots off on them, suddenly 2 more just happen to appear, and you said, wait, I thought they were on the other side of the map. Well, they were 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, there is one factor of this, too, that I haven't brought up, and that is Sayonara is known as the Ninja Squid team. They all run it here, and people have talked about how much stronger it is on land because, like the rest of the game, it functions as it is intended to. You aren't able to see anything, and that's why sometimes it feels like you're fighting everybody. And look at this right here again. No backline once again coming out. The game that Sayo has played, they are running until the end.
They certainly are. You know, and I think, honestly, if it's working, why change it? If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? That's what we're looking at, and that's exactly what they see. I do want to mention, I think this pick was very smart for FTWin because of the dual zone. They're able to split them up like you were talking about, but not in terms of range or length, but in terms of the fact they can't concentrate on one space.
That's a fantastic point here. The easiest way to spread out the opponent is to give them 2 targets to go at instead of just 1. They did get a few points there, but you saw they weren't able to get pushed up into that area that is just below the spawn here. Some people call it the drop. There's lots of different areas, hills that you can play on. That's really where this map starts to become very, very difficult to play around, and that is what they have done. That's what they tried to set up, and that's why Kyo has gone over to Slosher instead of Blaster, because it's just a little bit more versatile in those situations.
I completely agree with you. I think it's very, very smart, and right now they're just in a tough call because they're being pushed back, but even still, I love that 2D is still focusing on zone and trying to make sure that he's not just pushing people out, but he's really, really paying attention to objective, not letting it go very far out of their control.
And one other thing that's starting to become very noticeable is on this map, it is very, very difficult for Sayo to approach the members of FTWin without FTWin at least having an idea of where it is. You saw that Jared had tried to jump down off of the top tower to make a play on Itachi. He was able to get that, but immediately 2D was able to get the punishment there too, and they weren't able to really snowball it into a big advantage. You see right now they're moving in, but again, Itachi now knowing where they're at is able to take advantage of this short range, bully them and punish them that way. And this is what it's like when short range doesn't work for you. It's impossible to make plays happen.
It certainly is, and I think this is where Sayonara is backpedaling a little bit. They have to reorganize their thoughts and come up with a different way that they can tackle this. How can they break down the fantastic teamwork that they're now seeing from FTWin that they knew existed all along, but didn't have an opportunity to show itself as strongly as right now.
And again, this, like you said, breaking down the teamwork, all Itachi has to do is stay up here, identify and make sure they don't get flanked, and then as long as the frontliners don't go down in really haphazard ways, they're going to be fine. And how about that? I hear Kyo's callouts coming in all the way through my headset. He is hyped right now. FTWin has found their legs. They have to be very comfortable with the way that that has gone. And now we got ourselves a set.
We do. And I was looking over there just a second, and I see 2D had a little bit of a smile, but everyone is still stone-faced. They are playing this off. They are not going to let this go to their heads. They just want to take it one game at a time.
Well, when you're sitting at the top of the leaderboard, it's always nice to have a little smile there, too.
Yeah.
And to be fair, 2D, one of the best support players in the game, has
Certainly.
been from the very, very beginning, even back in the Tomo days, even in the Hikaru Memento days, to really take it back. He is one of the most unappreciated players, I think. And that's not, it seems silly to say that how can you be an unappreciated player when your team wins everything? But the conversation always goes to Blissey Falloff or Itachi or Kyo, and with good reason, but always there, always silent, and always playing the objective very smartly is 2D. Whenever he is playing well with Junior, it's going to be very difficult to get in. And I think that, again, like we said before, that might have been the best possible map and mode that they could have picked.
I agree. I think a key thing that you mentioned there also is playing objective. That's something that I see team after team kind of forget about sometimes. You don't quite pay attention as much as you might think you're paying attention, and all of a sudden zone is 10 seconds beyond what you anticipated and you don't have time. And I think that's something FTWin does really well. They're constantly paying attention to what's going on everywhere, not just to the picks, not who's positioned, but also what's happening with objective, how much time do they have, and what can they do about it.
Yeah, I agree entirely, and that's the mark of a great team, understanding the minutia of how those work as well, understanding that on that map, as long as we have our zone that's back on our side, even if they put a lot of resources to take their zone back, that's fine. They only have one. The worst they'll do is stop our timer. They won't apply any sort of penalty here.
Yep.
As long as we hold our positions, they'll be fine. And I think that's really one of the things I see a lot in these really good teams is holding positions. Because it's one thing to anyone can retreat. Knowing exactly how far to retreat and how much ground you have to give up versus how much ground you might be unnecessarily giving up. And that map, they really didn't give Sayo any opportunities. No. That's the FTWin we're used to seeing.
Certainly. And I have to point out, I think it's very interesting that the counter pick we're going to, Inkblot Art Academy, is another map that we saw taken very, very dominantly. So this is where Sayonara is now backpedaling a little. They know what they want. We saw this 10 seconds, 15 seconds?
Like we said, we didn't have the stopwatch out for it, but about the time it takes to run a 100-meter dash or somewhere in that range, not long is what we are getting at here. I have no doubts that this is the counter pick that they thought of almost immediately.
Yep.
And with the way that the last one went, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I said the moment I saw that game, it reminded me of an FTWin game where they knocked out Rainmaker within seconds, and this is the matchup that I've been anticipating all day.
Taking a look at it right here, it does look like FTWin was totally fine giving up Pop very early on and giving up that map control for the sake of setting up a defense in the way that they wanted. They got exactly what they wanted here at the start. This Inkjet's going to get punished about 3 different ways. The last one is there to try to make life difficult, but I think it's probably going to be a jump out or something similar to it here. Not a lot to be gained, but it's a very interesting call by FTWin at the start, knowing that they weren't going to get the pop, so why not hide, make sure you don't give up your positions, and set us up the way we want to.
Don't you always say Rainmaker Shield is the most OP?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
game?
most powerful weapon in the game.
And I think that that was very smart, as you mentioned. You know, back off a little, give yourself an opportunity to make sure it doesn't go as far as they want it to go. And sometimes that's okay.
I love that play by Sun right there. We just got done talking about how strong that is. Trying to get that pop, hoping that there would be a couple of people around, but more than anything, at a low cost, making sure that you have central map control for the rest of your players who you know are there. Some people may say, well, why would you just sit there and go down knowing that you were getting attacked? Well, there was a method to the madness. They got the map control they wanted, and if this Inkjet gets a couple picks, it'll look like a genius play.
It certainly will. I think that it could be very, very smart. It's also allowing the Rainmaker to have a little bit of cover from above, which is something you don't always have an opportunity to use in your favor. So really smart here. Oh no, I was waiting for that faller to come in. Really strong push coming out right now from Sayonara.
And great shot there by Itachi, keeping the damage to a minimum. 51, really not a lot here. They're going to be able to get the jump over there and at least keep it in a position where they might be able to follow up on it. But you see right there with Kyo pushed up so far, there isn't a lot of continuation to be had. FTWin should be able to let this one set down, so great job once again. We said Itachi might have been the MVP of that last game. The only reason this game is still going on now was that pick.
It certainly is. I think that Itachi's positioning is very, very smart, and being able to kind of face down, but waiting for players, you know, waited for Shaq right there to go in on this 2v1 situation. They're approaching this map in such a way that it is mathematical. You know, the way that they're moving throughout, they're clearing things out. They're trying to make sure that nobody goes at it alone, exactly what they're really good at here.
Goodness gracious. I was about to say how much this is. Bagel, get that last one. Dang it, they jumped out. I was about to yell quad, but I guess I don't get to do that now. I'll get more opportunities in the future, but I was about to say FTWin had pushed all of the members of Sayo all the way back, but then Bagel jumped back out. The Nautilus, one of the most explosive weapons in the game, was able to defuse all of that so very quickly. They're now pushed back into another position, though I think, once again, was that Bagel again? How many times am I going to say his name?
Honestly, over and over and over again, Bagel is doing everything possible to make sure that they are the... I don't even know.
We're running out of adjectives.
Yeah.
We're running out of adjectives to describe exactly what he is capable of doing. And you see he actually gets a couple more right there as he slowly but surely starts to move up. The real question now is how will they get through this? Because Itachi is set up in the same position that he was before. This has been the thing that has stopped them every time. What is the secret ingredient going to be to get rid of him?
I am absolutely not sure what it is, but I mean, this is it. This is it. This is exactly what we want here. 2D is making this push. They are very, very close to lead. Oh my gosh, 9 points. That's exactly what you want.
And they snuck back around there, and once again, the Ninja Squid allowing them to move up very safely. I agree with you, Melissa. I thought they had what they want. They had a 4-down situation, and this is a map where you can turn that into a push with absolutely no time and very little investment. So the fact that Sun was once again sharking, very fantastic. They've gotten a little bit too aggressive there, a little bit too bold, if I may say. But we'll see a look right here. Kyo needs to find this pick right here. They have to clean up this plat if they're going to make a push. And more than anything, they have to get rid of Bagel.
They certainly do. They have to make sure that Bagel is as neutralized as possible. And that's the only way they're going to get anywhere with this. You know, Rainmaker is in a good position. 2D, oh my gosh, 2D has to back off so much. And Bagel is right there, right on top of everything. But 2D has done fantastic just moving around. And then Bagel finds him.
Bagel, I don't even need to look. I don't even need to look. I know exactly who it is. Bagel has been the catalyst for everything that they've had on the offensive side, the defensive side, maybe feeling himself a little bit too much. And I'm actually not sure what took out the Rainmaker here. That looked like such a good situation, but they weren't able to move it. Kyo yells yes here, and I don't think there's anyone here. Just don't go down to that bomb, and that should be the points that you need. Run it forward. Is anyone going to be able to jump? It's going to be the lead.
Goodness.
More than the lead. Great work, down to 20, and I'm not sure what took out the Rainmaker there. It was off screen.
This is it. Do you hear? I can hear Keo yelling from here. This is amazing, amazing. You know, they just don't have the time to pick it up or do anything. Really, really fantastic. The pop-offs, 9. This is wonderful.
It was, and I heard let's go Bliss because Bliss had pushed up right there. For those of you unfamiliar with Rainmaker overtime mechanics, if your opponent was the last one that touched it, you do get to go into overtime as long as it's still in its shield. So I think I really would like to maybe go back and see what kept the Rainmaker back in there, because Bagel had gotten those 2 picked. It looks like that push was done. They grabbed the Rainmaker, and then they went down with the Rainmaker back there. Then Bagel, who was maybe pushed up a little bit, that was amplified by the fact that the Rainmaker was in a position where when they popped, they got an immediate push. And man, Sayo was in control that entire game. It slipped away just at the end. That's got to be frustrating.
I think that's just how it happens sometimes, where you could be pushing everything with everything that you have an opportunity to do all of the things perfectly, and then that last little second, something slips under the radar, and that's what happened. And by pushing to kind of the left where they did, they're able to use that cover of the wall. So even if you're coming from above, from over top, you had to be flanking in order to take them out.
And now we've seen both teams go with a map and mode that they have dominated on in the past, and both times the opposing team won. So,
yes.
You know, maybe looking at the game plan here and saying, okay, we got to rethink this. Something is wrong with the G diffuser. Something's not going on here the way that it should. And I'm very curious to see now what Sayonara is going to opt to pick here, because they have now won on tower control, which they did in that last set, but they also lost in tower control, and now they've lost on Rainmaker. So do you think we're going to see Splat Zones Game 5? I feel like that's the fitting way that this usually goes.
Normally I would say yes, but I think Sayonara has just shown us that they really feel good about certain things, and I'm almost anticipating Rainmaker again. Maybe not. Maybe they'll surprise us. I definitely don't think we're going to see clams, and I mean, I don't think we're going to see tower control either, because they know how strong FTWin can be on that.
Lots of questions that they will be able to provide the answers to. They're discussing amongst themselves right now, talking here, waiting now to make sure what it is. This is tournament point for them.
This certainly is.
We either have a bracket reset or FTWin continues to do what they have done ever since they have come in. We know now it's going to be Rainmaker on Mako Mart, your most popular map by the community voting. We get to see it in 3 different modes. This is the only way it could have been. How do we not anticipate this?
This is the best. See, I called Rainmaker, but I was really hoping for clams. But I am happy to see Mako Mart every single time. If we could have had it 4 games in a row, I would have been happy with that.
Well, 3 is about as good as it's going to get here. We have people clapping here, and why not? Game 5 of Grand Finals. This is exactly what we wanted to see. If Sayo gets the win here, you get to see potentially 5 more games of these 2 teams duking it out. If FTWin wins, they will continue their march to the very top of Splatoon royalty. A lot at stake right here. My heart rate is well over 150 right now.
Mine too.
I don't know how they're able to keep any sort of semblance of control here, but there's no time for mistakes right now.
There certainly aren't. They're going to have to go in. Obviously, Sayonara took a second to think about this because Anthony took a minute to ready up there. They're talking about it. They're trying to figure out what is our strategy, what are we going to do here, and we will see. So it's going to be really fun. I can't wait to see it. Rainmaker on Mako Mart. 9, this could be it, or this could be just the start.
Everybody, this is what Splatoon 2 is all about. These are the best teams that we could offer today in Game 5. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. Everybody, give these teams your energy as we get started here. And look at this once again. No backline coming out from Sayo. They are fighting to the finish with what they know.
Honestly, it's worked for them so far. Why change it? I think that they're doing exactly what they want to do. They're having a good time with it, and they should keep doing it. And I think their FTWin is having a little trouble answering it anyway.
Look at this. At the very beginning of this, 2 go down for both sides right here. Look at this. The Splatlings are next to each other. Bagel fighting. The Rainmaker has been picked up. They're not waiting. Once again, it's Itachi on the side. Now look at this. They're fighting on stack. They are throwing everything they have at each other. We talked about how sometimes you want to play a little cautiously in Rainmaker. Throw caution to the wind. We're playing some good Splatoon.
Absolutely. Neither team is ready to play this slow because they know if they give each other an inch, they will take a mile and they will run with it and they will dunk that Rainmaker.
And once again, fantastic rotation by by Itachi over to this side. He stops the Rainmaker and has the presence of mind to take out the two people who were going for him as well. This is why this is one of the strongest backliners that you will see. Kyo actually told me in confidence, sorry Kyo, that he believes that Itachi is the best backliner in all of non-Japan Splatoon. That is high praise from a player who has seen it all, but with the way he's playing right now, I can't blame him whatsoever.
I can't either. I think that this is exactly the type of play we expect to see from FTWin, and we're going to continue to, you know, making sure that Itachi is set up and covered by everyone else is the key here. You know, being able to get that pick on Jared, Anthony having to jump out because all the rest of the teammates are dead. There is nothing else to do except for FTWin to push in a very commanding position here. Kyo has painted all the way for 2D. Beautiful, beautiful push.
Okay, 34, not as bad as it could be. But wait, there's still one up there. Kyo is up there. Kyo was able to get one. This could be big. What is Kyo going to be able to create in this situation? If he's able to take one out, and he is, and it's Bagel actually. He might be able to jump back down here. All these resources that are being devoted to Kyo, and he might be able to get another. He is not, but look at all that was spent just trying to get rid of Kyo. There is no presence in the center of map for Sayonara. Some people say that when the push is done, you have to jump back out. There are still things you can do, and great on Kyo for being able to take advantage.
Certainly, certainly so. I think that was so smart of Kyo. He did everything he could just to be a nuisance, to be a little bit of annoying to Sayonara. This is going to be the counter push we're waiting for. Bagel, though, carrying the Rainmaker makes it much more difficult for Bagel to be the one who's getting all the picks.
The bubbles got two, and now it's Itachi once again. Can he play defense on this? They are able to just in time, and he's actually able to retreat all the way back up to the spawn circle. These teams are pushing each other so far that not even the spawn circle feels to be safe. There's your fall off, everybody. I know Twitter wanted that.
Absolutely. That was what everyone was waiting for. Moving the Rainmaker out just a little bit. Team Wave, this is it. Sayonara has this is their moment. This is what they can do right here. They need to move, and they need to move fast. Bagel at the lead. Bagel is the one who's going to push 9.
I don't understand. They had a full wipe, and they weren't able to get anything. FTWin is playing so well right now. Kyo gonna jump this off saying, can we please breathe right now? And I don't understand if there was just a miscommunication on who was picking it up, if they were too far back, because that was a full wipe, and they weren't able to get the lead.
I don't quite know what happened either, and I think sometimes it's just, maybe it was a little bit of a miscommunication, not understanding that everybody was down, that it was safe to push. I don't know, but this is going to be the opportunity that they're looking for. The bubbles are coming out. Bagel is using them to his advantage, but they're just blasting them apart.
They are. This pop is going to happen very, very quickly right here. Are they going to get it right there? And again, still no points to be had. That was a lot of specials right there, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but FTWin has been playing defense for the last minute of the game. They're going to try to jump it off here again because that's all they can do, but it's been enough for them here. And again, they have to find some way to get rid of that ballpoint. Splatling, if they're going to do anything, that position has been the power position. They put a Rainmaker shot up there the last time. It wasn't enough. Now Kyo is coming in here. If they take Kyo out, this is going to be a great opportunity to push. They're not able to. Shaq running in as well.
Ooh.
Gets taken out. The Rainmaker has been reset. I like that play, trying to put it back into the center, but now look at this. FTWin has map control, and that may have been Sayo's best chance.
Absolutely. There is so much map control from FTWin. That's what they want right now, and getting that double. I mean, this is what you're looking for. This is the moment that Kyo is saying, no, you're not getting past me. Nobody is going past me. This is where we're holding for the last 30 seconds of this game. Sayonara has an answer for it.
I was going to say, you better hold a little tighter than that. The fact that two were able to sneak back up here, and look at the position Jared had. Jared's going to be able to come behind here and attack anybody who is on this stack. Now Sun's going to be leading the charge once again. They're going to try to put it here, and this is going to be a very difficult location to dig the Rainmaker out of. There goes another shot. The bubbles aren't going to be able to reach it. They're on the other side. It's just Ant, and I don't believe that 2B got that. I can't believe that dude got that. That may be the most important pick in the tournament as FTWin wins it. And there goes one chair. A second chair soon to follow. And your champions once again, FTWin, in a reverse sweep to win Genesis Splatoon 2.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I have ever seen FTWin pop up and celebrate that much for a win. Ever. Never. That was so well deserved. They were sweating, they were feeling it, and honestly, Sayonara, fantastic playing. Just everything that you expect to see, and I couldn't have been happier to be able to watch that.